Although Varian may have been introduced to Rapunzel and her friends as a helpful, naive, brilliant, and sweet boy, through many heartbreaking moments, he has since slowly allowed his heart to be shadowed in darkness. Which is why today, I'm hopefully going to make you proud by explaining the tragic fall of Varian. Hello, I'm Isaac from Wotso Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people. On my channel, I focus on spreading magic by examining Disney films, so if you are new here, consider subscribing. Every character throughout Tangled the series, old and new, is allowed to grow, learn, and change organically throughout the events of the show, and no character so far has captured the creator's ability to do that better than Varian. Through Varian's first 14 years of life, he's grown up in Old Corona under the critical eye of his beloved father, Quirin. Varian has a practically genius intellect, which he utilized to study science, engineering, and his favorite field, alchemy. As he grew up and began to take on large-scale projects and build formidable machines, Varian gained a reputation as a wizard of Old Corona, which would eventually draw the Princess of Corona to his door. After Rapunzel's hair returns, she seeks out Varian with her best friend Cassandra in hopes of understanding it. When they find the boy who can help them, he shows he is respectful, well-mannered, and grateful to be given the opportunity to help their princess, and quickly befriends Rapunzel and her companions. And we come to understand that Varian strives to use his knowledge to benefit the lives of his family, friends, and his people. He wants his life and the lives of those he cares for to be better off because of his work, but we see through his attempt to install access to hot water for Old Corona that oftentimes his creations are unstable and dangerous and end up leading to unnecessary destruction. Even though he has a brilliant mind, his naivety can lead to mayhem in his path, much to the disappointment of his father. Quirin loves his son, but he struggles with how to handle Varian's consistent misjudgments that threaten the lives of their people.
Dad, I'm sorry.
Not again, Varian.
No matter how many times he fails though, Varian remains committed to helping those he cares for. For a period of time, he would help Rapunzel and her friends with anything they needed. From keeping secrets on Raps's hair, baking Rapunzel a cake, and helping Cassandra out so she could be a guard on duty.
You sure you can get all this done?
Yeah, no problem. It's the kind of thing friends do, right?
While assisting Cassandra, they connect over the relentless expectations of their fathers. And later, even though Varian is a caring problem solver by nature, Varian admits that he helped Cass and built his invention for the exposition of science to impress her, because he has a crush on her. A part of Varian works to receive recognition for his actions.
Truth is, all I really wanted to do was impress you. I thought if I showed you what I was capable of, you might see something in me.
Varian may be looking for others to have pride in him, but that doesn't hinder him from acknowledging his mistakes or working to undo the problematic situations he created, seen through him stopping his device that could generate a new element. He strives to do what is right, which is why when he shows Rapunzel and Cassandra the black rocks that inspired him to create a new element, and they ask him to help them and keep his knowledge of Rapunzel's quest a secret, he agrees. To help his friends and allow him to remain in control of the black rock situation, he does what is necessary and remains silent. When the black rocks start growing and destroying Old Corona though, at an alarming rate, Varian feels motivated to stop them, but his father tells him to stay away. Although Varian obeys for a period of time after he sees his father lie to King Frederick on the state of Old Corona, Varian is furious and confused.
Old Corona is being destroyed!
Old Corona will endure. You'll have to trust that I can handle this.
Varian, feeling obligated to take action when his father won't, tells Rapunzel the truth, since he knows the situation has gotten much worse since she last saw them. Although Rapunzel promises everything will be okay, Varian decides to truly take matters into his own hands and goes against his father's word. Determined to use alchemy to rid the land of the rocks, Varian begins to formulate chemical solutions to destroy them. When Quirin discovers the work Varian has been doing though, he condemns the experiments, asserting the alchemy Varian is conducting is too dangerous. But of course, Quirin's son disagrees. Varian believes his research to be noble, for he believes it is capable of saving all of Corona, while his father is acting with complacency. But unfortunately, as they argued, a chemical of Varian's design that had been poured onto a black rock expanded and was about to consume Varian before his father pushed him out of the way. By saving Varian though, Quirin had been entrapped in the amber himself. Feeling guilty that he allowed himself to put his father in danger, and knowing the only parent in his life at the time was being swallowed by a substance he didn't understand, he searches for help. Although Varian acknowledges his destructive tendencies, he reflects and realizes that he doesn't want to be that young, innocent, and destructive child any longer. Varian feels that for too long he has disappointed his father and asserts this time he will prove he is capable of saving the day. This time, his father will be proud of him. Determined to become the son Quirin always desired him to be and enter his good graces, Varian treks through a massive snowstorm to Corona to beg Rapunzel for her help. But with her own people in crisis due to the storm, she could not help him at that moment. But Varian feels she's the only one who could stop Quirin's encasement in the amber. She had promised Varian everything would be alright, even though when Varian needed her the most, she wouldn't help.
Ah! Princess! My dad needs help! Rapunzel! You promised! You promised!
After being dragged out of Rapunzel's sight, Varian returns home and sees his father has been completely encapsulated by the amber, and subsequently breaks down in tears. Varian had failed his father just as he had time and time again with his inventions and alchemy. Again, Varian had been unable to prove his worth to his father, but just as he had always done when he faced problems, he would not give up. The sadness he felt turned to rage as he swore to do whatever it would take to get Quirin back, and that anyone who would stand in his path would pay. He would not let anyone turn their back on his family anymore. What is so powerful about this transformation for Varian is that I, like many other fans, grew to care about Varian when he was friends with Rapunzel before he became a compelling, broken antagonist. I connected with his dorkiness and playfulness and his aspiration for recognition. So when he felt betrayed and began to corrupt his outlook on the world, it was very heartbreaking to witness. The looming enemy, I always believed, would have come from magic and the black rocks in Corona. So Varian's moral degradation was a tragic threat I hadn't foreseen. But when Varian stood in front of his father and placed their well-being over all others, Varian's journey to evil had only just begun. Determined to free his father, Varian was willing to do anything and try anything to get him back. First, Varian manipulates and lies to his once close friend Rapunzel into believing he has forgiven her so he could gain access to the golden flower that had been used to save Rapunzel's life as a child, and uses alchemy to corrupt the minds of those who would stop him from escaping in the castle. Rapunzel tries to reach out to him and appeal to his better nature, but Varian refuses to trust her word any longer since she left him in his darkest moment. When the golden flower he stole could not free his father, and he comes to believe the magic of the Sundrop resides in Rapunzel. Out of anger and frustration, Varian regroups and plots his next moves. Becoming desperate to see his father again, he reverse engineers and constructs ancient automatons, launching them to retrieve Rapunzel. When his first hidden construction is destroyed, he develops a serum capable of distorting his pet raccoon Rudiger into a terrifying monster against his will. Varian was becoming more ruthless in his approach and more cunning, for with Rudiger on the loose, he kidnaps Queen Ariana as bait for Rapunzel to come to him. But as Varian kept taking more drastic actions, Varian's fight was becoming something other than just a battle to free his father.
And after you freed your father?
After? Oh, well, I'm afraid Corona will pay for turning their backs on me. And that's when you should start worrying, Your Majesty.
The young boy isn't oblivious to his degrading and his misconstructed sense of morality, but he's convinced the blame does not rest on him. Those who allowed his family to suffer when he needed someone to act are the reason he thinks he's become selfish, aggressive, and full of rage. Varian is now looking for retribution for his mistreatment in the form of revenge.
I'm the bad guy, that's fine. It's no fault of mine, and some justice at last will be served.
As Varian awaits and prepares for the oncoming attack by Corona to take back their queen, Rapunzel and King Frederick sneak into Varian's home while Varian launches his army of automatons. The duo do not make it far within Varian's hideout though, because they become trapped, just as Ariana was. With Rapunzel finally within his grasp, Varian demands he uses Rapunzel's hair to drill away at the ember that encased his father. Unfortunately though, this method fails to free Quirin as all of his other solutions had. Heartbroken, he could not unite with his father after all the work he had dedicated to this goal, and after all he sacrificed to get there, Varian lashes out his frustration on Rapunzel by boarding and controlling his own giant robot focused on destroying Rapunzel's happy ending. He attacks those Rapunzel loves, attempting to make her suffer like he had to, but Rapunzel won't stand idly by and let Varian do this to her and those she loves.
That's enough, Varian.
It's not enough. until you endure the same amount of pain and agony I have!
Although Varian works to end Rapunzel with all of his fury by unleashing her connection to the Black Rocks, Varian's reign of tyranny had ended, but his path to the darkness had been solidified. He had completely lost who he was as he had fought with vengeance as his purpose. No longer was Varian attempting to help his people. He was working to bring sadness, pain, and destruction to those who he felt had wronged him. And for making those choices, he would be locked away until he received the help he needed.
I will make you proud of me, Dad. If it's the last thing I ever do.
Varian had always used his intellect and knowledge to help and impress those he cared for, but after failing to make his father see him in a positive light, and after all of his attempts to protect and build upon the lives of his people, he begins to break down when he causes his father to be entrapped in the very substance Quirin had warned him about. Varian's once kind and sweet personality was stripped away as he furiously pursued the approval of his father and his revenge on those who would not help him when his father was suffering. Using his intellect and rage, Varian fell deep into despair as he went to further and further lengths to undo his mistake. As his morality degraded, Varian turned his back on the world and became someone who tragically would not have made his father proud. But now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Varian will be redeemed by the end of Tangled the series? Let me know in the comments, along with any other ideas you have for future videos. To see me talk about Varian and the wonderful and complicated lore of Tangled more, you can find my Tangled playlist and other videos I think you would love in the description. And if you'd like to continue to see more magical discussions like this one, then don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Wotso Videos, and to click that subscribe button and the beautiful bell if you're new. Thank you to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon who are amazing supporters of my videos, and as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day.